Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel URIEL, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And happy flight day. And this is about to be a very interesting video, you know, because I'm finna give a lot of people secrets. Like when people want to talk about the Illuminati and talk about all this, that, oh, we shouldn't talk about this and that, I'm finna talk about some real shit that you really can say you shouldn't talk about, because human consciousness, for some strange reason, isn't ready for this type of shit. But remember when I was talking about the concept of my God and all this, that, and the third? Now, for me to be able to draw myself in this existence, right? The God that everybody constructed and made for themselves isn't even my God. But what if I was to tell you that my God isn't even the true God? And all that example, and I was putting it down before, yes, that's access to the truth God. But when I say my God, as me being an Archangel Uriel, it's a little bit more simple and it's a little bit more deeper than what you actually think. And a lot of it deals with the moon. Now, as a whole construct, before I ever break things down, this is like a density thing. I want to say the moon is a Merkaba. The moon is our spaceship. The moon is our third eye. Now that's in density. Here's another density thing I want to present to you. Think of it as a whole being itself, right? As a being, right? Then as the solar system being a being. And you have the sun being like the crown chakra. Then you have the moon being the head, the third eye, the inside chakra that controls, you know what I'm saying? Then you have Mercury being the throat chakra. You know what I'm saying? You have Venus being the heart chakra. You know what I'm saying? Things of this nature. You have Earth being like the lungs and the structure of it. You know what I'm saying? Chakra. You have the, you know what I'm saying, Venus being the heart chakra. You know, Mars being the root chakra. Listen, check me out. Jupiter ruling the thighs, Saturn ruling the kneecaps. You know what I'm saying? But that's density. We finna get a little deep now. I'm finna give you the actual travel of your God, which is not a he, which is not a she, but this is going to explain how once you was like a female dominant beings, then male dominant beings, then before you even got manifest to the point that you can experience yourself as a male species and a female species. I'm finna give you a little story. Whether you wanna, I don't care how you feel about it, I'm the Archangel Uriel. Now, remember this concept I was talking about, this space going in within itself, whatever like that? So within that construct, you have a lot of spaces now going in within itself. Now, there's a lot of spaces floating around within space. Now, as a human perspective, you just see it as more space. But from where I'm from, it's spaces within spaces within spaces. It's actually separate in this reality. Which, this is why it's dimensions, and this is why you're able to see different perceptions. Seeing a different perception is how you see a different dimension. People are like, how do you see different dimensions? Niggas see a different perception. I feel upset right now. Now I feel happy. I went into another dimension. I looked this way, I looked that way. I just looked into another dimension. This dimension don't have the same dimension as this dimension. This is why I'm able to see what I'm seeing in this way, which the camera is in this dimension. But if I was to look in this way, when the light when my eyes perceive this light, I see the reality. And then when I have a vision from my inside eye and I put that out, when this light come in and that vision go out, it creates a perception. Then in this dimension, I only see these things. I don't see the camera in that dimension. You see what I'm saying? So, check me out. Like I said, the space going in with the space. You got a lot of spaces going in with the space. Now, like I said, I like to pick on scientists. What is the universe? Space, time, and matter. Space is a higher density of gas. Matter is a higher density of solid. Time is a higher density, higher frequency of fluid. So, fluid, matter, and gas is, I like to say, that created the universe. Since they want to say time, space, and matter created the universe, I like to say matter is solid, time is fluid, and gas is space, just in a lower density. The highest frequency of it in this reality is space, time, and matter. But matter is solid in a lower frequency, time is fluid in a lower frequency, and space is gas in a lower frequency. So gas, that's equated to spirit. Fire makes gas. You know what I'm saying? It's spirit. So when you say a space within a space, let's say now we got a bunch of spaces floating around. Let's just say now we got a bunch of spirits floating around. Now, with spirits being consciously aware of their surroundings, they're consciously aware of their own space. They have their own space now. So now these spirits is ideas. That's the idea realm, the space realm, for space and opportunity, for room and opportunity. When your room is too cluttered, you have to clean it up and make what? Make room and space. So you can have the opportunity for more room to move around. More ideas to flow in. When you got too much on your mind, you can't come up with no creative ideas. You have to clear your mind so you can come up with some creative ideas. This is why people get high. See what I'm saying? It's all tied to the same thing. A person with a lot of creative ideas, a lot of times people who are around them are just I say, I like this person's spirit. I like this person's spirit. AKA, this person have a lot of good ideas. A person who got a lot of bad ideas, want to do a lot of negative things. A lot of times you be around this person, you want to say, I don't like this person's spirit. AKA, they got a bad spirit. They have a lot of bad ideas. Y'all can't fuck with me. Now, when you got a bunch of spirits, AKA spaces, floating around, you got a bunch of ideas floating around. So this is a spiritual being floating around with an idea. Now, with this idea, right? This idea, this space, this spirit, that's where this spirit, this serpent, this, you know what I'm saying? They have some wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They snake their way into realities. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. You see what I'm saying? See? That's the only way you can see. Due to information. You can't see without information. See, the S word. Check me out. Now, what do S look like? What do S-E-E? Oh, man, listen. E-E, two I's with an S. Woo! Let's not start. Let's Kundalini rock. Woo! Let's not start. Let's not start. But when you talk about these spirits floating around, had an idea, right? So with this idea, what happened? It had an emotion and a feeling to create this idea. Now, with this spirit realm, creativity is rapid. These spiritual beings is powerful. So once they get an emotion and feeling about something, they can manifest that real fast. So boom, that created the illusion, that created the fluid, that created the experience, that created the emotion, that created a realm that it can go into time and experience the idea and create the idea that it had. So now you have an orb. This is the moon. The moon is a Merkaba. Before we get there, we're gonna break it down. Now, the moon is your overlord, your soul overlord. Check this out. Now, when the idea, the spirit had the idea to create, now that creates the fluid, that creates the time, the experience, to want to create whatever like that. And they can do it on instinct. The spiritual being can do it on instinct. Now it has this orb, it has this Merkaba. It has this Merkaba and it's working now. You know what I'm saying? Now it has a soul. It created a soul for the idea, an expression for it, a vision for it, a feeling for it. You know what I'm saying? Imagination for it. Now within this orb, within this soul, this being Now it has many different emotions about the idea, many different feelings, aka many different souls now. Now different souls are split apart. This is why you can find your soul group, your soulmate, because you may be part of the same. Now this oversoul, right? Now once it has many different souls, many different feelings, it's broken into pieces now. That's aka you're able to have your own soul within this space. Now you have your own space and your own soul within this overall spirit idea, and this overall feeling and expression it had for the idea, which is the soul. Now you got your separate piece from that. Now you see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Stick with me though. Let's just get back to this being itself. It's a spiritual being. It had an idea. It had an emotional feeling about what the idea is, so it wanted to create it. That feeling and emotion created the fluid realm now. Now the time and experience, the one that created and all that, now that's the orb of it. Now since it got many different feelings and emotions, that created many different souls, many different feelings. That's why you have your own emotions and feelings. I have my own emotions and feelings. But this is what's keeping us all connected. The moon keeps us all connected. Now, we're going to get back to that though. It's the spaceship. The moon is not even, it's an illusion, but it's real. It's just an illusion. We're gonna get there. Now with the spirit, now with this, now you got your own separate whole bunch of different feelings and different emotions, aka different souls. Now with all these souls now, right? Now, what happens when you have different emotions and different feelings now? AKA, now you have different souls, separation, AKA different people. What happens if you go to a school, you go to a job, you have many different ideas, many different peoples? What happens? It's going to cause friction, clashes, whatever, right? So within this Merkaba, right, we started to create separation, right? So this is how we started to create this solar system, right? Now, first of all, the idea, the spirit, now it needs a star. It needs a star to reproduce, to replicate, to actually manifest. AKA it needs a light. That was our magic in this time. Light. We use light. Light is not something we in. Light is something we use in this realm. So light going into darkness is like the manifest. It's the same way with your eyeballs. When this eye inside your head has a vision, right? That's when it's being projected. When you open your eyes and receive light, that's receiving a projection. So when you receive a projection and then you output the inside projection, both of those, the light going into the dark and then the dark outputting the vision, creates the manifestation of the magic. So everything does that. So that's why we needed light as spiritual beings in order to manifest. So that the idea needed light in this realm in order to start to create the feeling and the emotion, you know what I'm saying, and how would it appear to look in the experience in order to get there. So as this Merkaba is as the moon, as the soul of the manifestation of the soul of the spirit, because when the spirit had an idea and wanted to emotionally and feel to create this idea, that created the soul of the spirit, the idea, the space, the spirit. It created the soul of it. So the soul of it, that's the Merkaba now. This is the Merkaba now. So it's floating around now, and it needs the magic source. So it needs the light. So it has to find a star. So this sun was the star. So once, right here, this was a place to set up shop. So once we use this sun, this light, which God gave us, able to utilize that now, and able to start to create the pool, or how the pool ocean constantly pool look. And now we got many emotions that fit. Now this spirit idea have many different emotions and feelings about the idea now, and everything it could do now. AKA that separates into different souls, many different emotions and feelings is different souls. So now with the light, now it start to get manifested, and now it start to experience the creation now within different feelings and emotions became separation. So now we started to create the solar system, you know what I'm saying, as soul beings, spiritual soul beings, you know what I'm saying. But at this time we're still powerful, but now we're experiencing separation and different ways of saying things, and this is way before we get down to language and being human beings. You see what I'm saying? So now At this time, this is how we create in the solar system. So this is how we created Mars and lived on Mars, because it was a part of the soul group, that wanted to be anger, wanted to express the anger and the feeling of the creativity and the idea, at this time, all of this is not good or bad yet. You know what I'm saying? And at this time, they start to analyze, and these type of thoughts and stuff like that start to become more on the left side of the reality of the Merkaba. You know what I'm saying? That's another video, and we're gonna get into that. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, then you have people who didn't want to experience that all the time, so they wanted to experience pleasantness and getting along. So that just so happened to be pieces of the soul group creating they own little Merkaba around, and that's how Venus got created. People who wanted love and compassion and things like that, or whatever like that. Then you have people who wanted to learn from both of these people. You got spiritual souls that wanted to learn from both of these groups, and that's how, you know what I'm saying, Mercury, you know what I'm saying, and Jupiter, you know what I'm saying, this is how we started. It's an order to this, but that's another video. But each was in order, you know what I'm saying. And then Earth, we wanted to experience physical pleasantness and time and growth, and how to take care of things and nurture, and how to have real compassion. So that's how we created Earth. You know what I'm saying, Merkaba. And at this time, we was doing things on instant, but we was getting so separate. You know what I'm saying. You have people who was on with souls on Mars now, looking at the Merkaba on Venus, and wanting to take all the good stuff over there for their own selfish reasons. This is how planets start getting their characteristics. I need y'all to understand. I need you to understand. This is how astrologers are able to pinpoint. But on my channel, I tell you how all this shit was created. I'm telling you how planets even got their characteristics. You see what I'm saying? I'm the Archangel Uriel, for real. Now, at this time, we created this solar system. I need you to understand that. As a soul group in general. But now, this is why you got soul groups, and this is why you have a soulmate. Because you might be a piece, like, say, remember this oversoul, right? From the idea, right? Now, when it had many different ideas, that's AKA many different souls. So when you split apart, one got on Mars, whatever like that, you might have broke a piece and split apart off the same section and area as another person. So both of y'all souls may be landed in different times and realities and fears of realities and densities. So you may have to find each other through different substances. One soul and spirit may be in a dog in this lifetime, and your soul and spirit may be in a person, and then you may just relate to this animal so much and don't know why. That's why. And then it may be a person, and sometimes it may be a bird, and sometimes it may be two animals together and two bugs together. The shit is crazy, but it ain't. Let's get back to it though. But you know what I'm saying, as far as now, that's how we all experience separation and shit like that. Now, with the power of Earth, and with the Merkabas we was creating on Earth and whatever like that, and the spaceship and the moon that we was using and stuff as soul spiritual beings on Earth, it was real pleasant. People could become lazy here. People could, well, not people, but spiritual souls could become lazy here. They could become happy with time. They could start to think about control. And a lot of beings from Mars liked this, because they could come here and rule and control, and start to dissect things, and start to put time limits on things, and start to construct. So we started getting lesser and lesser into density, to the point that our Merkaba shift through the sun, and the sun is our light. That's our magic, right? So when our Merkaba went in front of the sun, every time we forget something and go into another reality, every time the sun go in front, every time the moon, aka our Merkaba, our oversoul, every time it goes in front of the sun, we forget something and learn something else. And every time it goes on the opposite side of the sun and behind the earth, we remember something first, then forget something. You see what I'm saying? First, when it goes in front of the sun, we forget something and learn, and then when it goes behind the sun, we learn something and forget something. You see what I'm saying? As earthlings. But look, on Earth, we could become lazy. We could become rule and authority. We could become rulers over other people, other souls and lesser souls, souls who don't know as much. and from other planets, and like a lot of beings from Venus came here and it came on Earth in this Earth Merkaba. Earth Merkaba was just a place where beings had stability, had food for the spiritual food for the beings and stuff that people can, Palladians and stuff like that, and Greys, and used to come here and have stuff for stuff that for to eat and people as a supply. They never took sides. You know what I'm saying? And beings from Mars will come here and want to take all this stuff for themselves and want to logically place everything in a mathematical order and process and law and stuff like that. Then beings from Venus come here and just want everything to be fair. Right? So they come with the law and justice, but Mars taking control, they like to take control over lands and stuff than the beings with Mars. So the plans that they had was smart, but at the same time it was aggressive. So but the beings from Venus is like with they Merkaba, they just like they wasn't pushovers, but they like more compromising and stuff like that. So they came with a balanced structured plan, and now we got justice and duality and stuff like that. So and then you got the smart wisdom what Jupiter beings who barely here and not here, they just more spiritual. These are the gurus who play out here now. But these spiritual beings just to come on Earth and try to give people knowledge and wisdom, but they never took serious. They never received the benefits of the land and the earth, but also they always had all the knowledge of the land and the earth. They just needed people to listen. And it goes deeper. We go to Saturn beings and how we created all that, but as we got more and more into density, we became more and more physical. You know what I'm saying? So now everyone wanted to experience their own kingdom. So as spiritual beings, we all slapped down here, depending on what we was channeling as spiritual beings on instant is what we came here. So a lot of Mars beings who was doing a lot of things and trying to experience a lot of things at one time come here, and now when they come into density, they be like seahorses and you know what I'm saying, whales and shit like that, and whales and shit from Ceres and shit like that. You got no, whales ain't from Ceres, but you got yeah, whales. Some whales are from Ceres, not all. You got dogs from Canis Major. The physical attributes from the manifestations of them, their souls and stuff. We are from different planets. That's a whole nother video. But as far as spiritual beings, we came here and got dense. Now we got shells. So now we in a lower dense, and we thought was going to be a heaven became a physical hell to a certain degree as this spiritual being. But this spiritual being as an overhaul, the moon is a Merkaba. The moon is our spaceship, so we can travel through the universe without time. This is why the emotions and the feelings connect us all. This is why the moon connect the earth. The moon is like, you could almost say the earth is in the moon. You know what I'm saying? You could almost say the earth is in the moon in a certain type of way. But the moon is the Merkaba, it's the oversoul. You know what I'm saying? And for you to have a soul, this is why they say the moon is the night crawler, the night creature, capture all the souls, the death, the Green Reaper, the something in the night. You know what I'm saying? Because when you die, that's where your soul go. It attracts back to the moon. The moon is the memory. The moon is the experience. The moon is the feeling, the expression. And that's the consciousness pool, the orb that we in. That's bringing us around and putting us back on whatever dimension we trying to be back in. You see what I'm saying? It's the moon. The moon is the being we in. So whatever you feel, that's how this being feel that you in. And when we all come as one, we all come back as one, as the oversoul, and we'll be this Merkaba again, floating around and be back as this spiritual being flying around. But this spiritual being is the conductor of all this, and this spiritual being is your God. This is the God I'm talking about with the one eye and all that. And he's in, not he's or her, but it's in a world, and this God has self-doubt. Everything you have, that's what this God got, or you wouldn't be able to feel it. So don't feel bad about you having depression or whatever like that. That's the first step to getting better.